Australia's looming election brings housing crisis into focus. Buying or renting a home has become unaffordable for the average Australian, driven by a perfect storm of astronomical house prices, relentless rental increases, and a lack of social housing. With less than a month until the federal election, housing remains among the top issues for voters, and the country's two major parties, the Labour Party and the Liberal National Coalition, have both pledged to tackle the crisis in a range of ways. Australians are already struggling under cost of living pressures and bracing for the effects of Donald Trump's global tariff war, and it remains to be seen whether either party will sway voters with their promise of restoring the Australian dream. Why are house prices in Australia so high? Simply put, Australia has not been building enough homes to meet the demands of its rapidly growing population, creating a scarcity that makes any available home more expensive to buy or rent. Compounding the issues are Australia's restrictive planning laws, which prevent homes being built where most people want to live, such as in major cities. Red tape means that popular metropolitan areas like Melbourne and Sydney are far less dense than comparably sized cities around the world. The steady decline of public housing and ballooning waitlists have made matters worse, tipping people into homelessness or overcrowded living conditions. Climate change has also made many areas increasingly unlivable, with natural disasters such as bushfires and severe storms destroying large swaths of properties. Meanwhile, decades of government policies have commercialized property ownership, so the idea of owning a home once seen as a right in Australia has turned into an investment opportunity. How much do I need to buy or rent a home in Australia? In short, it depends where you live. Sydney is currently the second least affordable city in the world to buy a property according to a 2023 Demography International Housing Affordability Survey. The latest data from property analytics company CoreLogic shows the average Sydney home costs almost 1.2 million Australian dollar, 550,000 and 294 euro, 742,000 and 26 dollar across the nation's capital cities. The combined average house price sits at just over 900,000 Australian dollar. House prices in Australia overall have also jumped 39.1% in the last 5 years, and wages have failed to keep up. It now takes the average prospective homeowner around 10 years to save the 20% deposit usually required to buy an average home, according to a 2024 State of the House System report. The rental market has provided little relief, with rents increasing by 36.1% nationally since the onset of COVID, an equivalent rise of 171 Australian dollar per week. Sydney topped the charts with a median weekly rent of 773 Australian dollar, according to college's latest rental review. Perth came in second with average rents at 695 Australian dollars per week, followed by Canberra at 667 Australian dollars per week. Are immigration and foreign buyers causing housing strain? Immigration and foreign property purchases are often cited as causes for Australia's housing crisis, but experts say that they are not significant contributors statistically. Many people who move to Australia are temporary migrants, such as international students who live in dedicated student accommodation rather than entering the housing market, according to Michael Fotheringham, head of the Australian Housing and Urban Research Institute. The impact of migrants on the housing market is not far as profound as some commentators have suggested. Mr. Fotheringham tells the BBC, foreign purchases of homes, meanwhile, is a very small issue, with not much meaningful impact on housing strain, says Brendan Coase from the Grattan Institute public policy think tank. The year the Australian dream died, how Australia is becoming more unlivable. The latest data released by the Australian Taxation Office supports this, with homes purchased by foreign buyers in 2022 and 2023 representing less than 1% of all sales. It's already very difficult for foreigners to purchase homes under existing foreign investment rules. They are subject to a wide range of taxes, particularly in some states, Mr. Coase explains. What have Australia's major parties promised? Labor and the coalition have both promised to invest in building more homes, with Labor offering 1.2 million by 2029, and the coalition vowing to unlock 500,000. Labor announced a 33 billion Australian dollar housing investment plan in their latest budget, which pledges to help first-time home buyers purchase properties with smaller deposits through trade equity loans. They have also promised to create more social housing and subsidies to help low to moderate income owners own and rent more affordably. Central to the coalition's housing affordability policy is cutting migration, reducing the number of international students, and implementing a 2-year ban on foreign investment in existing properties. Additionally, they have promised a 5 billion Australian dollar boost to infrastructure to support local councils by paying more for water, power, and sewage at housing development sites. The Greens policies, meanwhile, have focused on elevating pressures on renters by calling for national rent freezes and caps. They have also said that in the event of a minority government, they will be pushing to reform tax incentives for investors. What are the experts saying about each party's policies? In short, experts say that while both Labour, labor, and coalition's policies are steps in the right direction. Neither are sufficient to solve the housing problem. A combination of both bodies' platforms could be better than what we're seeing from either side individually, Mr. Coates tells the BBC. A 2025 State of the Land report by the Urban Development Institute of Australia says the federal government will fail to meet its target of 1.2 million new homes by 2029, falling short by almost 400,000. The coalition's focus on reducing immigration, meanwhile, will only make housing marginally cheaper while making Australia poorer in the long term, according to Mr. Coates. The cost to migration will mean fewer skilled migrations, he explains, and the loss of revenue from those migrants will result in higher taxes for Australians. Decades of underinvestment in social housing also means demand in that area is massively outstripping supply, which at 4% of housing stock is significantly lower than many other countries, according to Mr. Fotheringham. There's also concern about rents for first home buyers, which drive prices up further, while commending the fact that these issues are finally being treated seriously. Mr. Fotheringham believes it will take years to drag Australia out of a housing crisis that has been building for decades. We've been working into this as a nation for quite some time. He says now the nation is paying attention, the political class is paying attention. Thank you very much.